And good Saturday morning to you. I'm Frankie Castillo. We are back live on the air on 93.3 FM, 9:30 a.m., and on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tim Hicks beside me on the camera. And, of course, joining us right now live in the booth is the head coach of the Poplar Bluff Mules, the head coach, John David Patillo. And, Coach, it is good to see you, my friend, and a good Saturday afternoon for baseball. Sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. 24 hours ago, we were unsure if we were going to be able to play today, but the good Lord above said, let's play baseball.
Yeah, it's going to turn out to be a good day. Got a lot of wind, but other than that, great looking day.
Have we had a game all year where there's not been a wind issue, Coach, honestly?
Not yet, but I'm hoping.
Let's talk about your team taking on the Bulldogs out of Van Buren. You guys picking up a big win on Thursday against Naylor, 15-1. Dylan Bratcher, on Tuesday, Dylan Bratcher was the winning pitcher in that ball game. He pitched a great game, 4 innings, and he's got so much trust, he'll get the start here today as well.
Well, today we're planning on most of our guys throwing, kind of set up our week this week. We've got Ellington on Monday, we've got Sykeston on Tuesday, Greene County Tech Thursday, and Kelly on Saturday. So we're trying to spread our pitching and make sure that everybody gets a chance to throw a little bit today.
So what are you looking for today as Van Buren coming in? They are 1-6 overall this season. What do you think for your Mules? What do you want to see happen early in this ball game? Take control as they did against maybe Naylor.
I think the big thing is we just come out and throw strikes, gives us a chance on the defensive side, and offensively just keep battling like we've been doing. We've been pretty. I know we can be better, but we've been pretty good offensively. We haven't been swinging a lot of bad pitches. We've been getting on base well, so I just think we've got to keep building on what we're doing offensively.
Man, it's amazing how last week, or really this week, we had a few days off, but man, coming up next week, Coach, we're going to have a brutal week, as you talked about. We're going to have back-to-back home games, and then on the road against Sykeston, back home against Greene County Tech, and a week from today, back on the road at Kelly. So today, I'm assuming if the Mules get up early, we might see some fresh jerseys come in and play some position roles.
Yeah, I mean, we always have that as part of it. You know, we got a chance to do that against Naylor, and you know, those games are great, and the fact that you get people an opportunity and give them a chance to play, and so that was good. And but the big thing, like I said, I think today we need to set up our pitching for next week, and you know, we're going to do everything we can to win games, but we also got to keep our pitch counts right, and like I said, have people ready in both the Monday and Tuesday game.
Speaking of pitch counts, I know today we're going to see multiple pitchers for the Mules. We'll start off with Bratcher, and what's his pitch count going to be today, do you think?
Well, it's 60 or under, but you know, I'd like to keep him under that if we can. We'll just see how the game goes, and then we're probably going to throw Bratcher and Durbin after that, and if we get to season good, we'll get to season good. So and like I said, this will all kind of flow into the JV game too. We've got some, you know, juniors and sophomores that might throw a little bit that are varsity pitchers. We may throw to get some innings in that JV game. We'll just have to see, but like I said, it's wide open for today.
On the other end of the spectrum, Van Buren coming in 1-6, and one of two seniors, Jeremy Jaco, he'll get the start here today from the Van Buren side. What do you know about him?
I don't know a lot. I know more about the younger kids because some of them play travel ball with some of our kids. I think they're a lot like us. They've got some young talent. You know, they don't have a lot of upperclassmen, but you know, they're going to be a pretty good group. I know Coach Nicholson, and I know he does a good job.
Used to be a coach here, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
So here today, Van Buren, they come to town, and obviously it's a no-brainer question, but do you think the wind may play a role here in the outfield today?
Well, definitely. And, we had the kids out here at 9 o'clock. We took a couple extra batting practice sessions, and we're concentrating on fly balls intentionally during that time. We've hit a bunch of fly balls today to our outfielders, and so it's definitely something that's going to come into play.
It is definitely nice to be at home today as we get ready to take on the Van Buren Bulldogs. Final question, Coach. What did you guys work on Wednesday, Thursday? I know yesterday you couldn't practice because of the weather, but what did you guys work on Wednesday and Thursday to get ready, not just for today, but this upcoming long week of high school baseball?
Well, Wednesday we spent most of the day working defensively. Coming off that game, there were some things that we thought we needed to handle better, and then spent a lot of our time on Thursday hitting, and we still did some defensive stuff, but we kind of spread out our work, kind of cut practice back a little bit, but we also didn't really think that we would just be completely out on Friday, but
right.
We knew we had a chance of rain, but it kind of went crazy on us.
Kind of did indeed. Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you after the varsity game.
All right.
All right, Coach John David Patillo joining us live here on the pregame, presented by First Midwest Bank. Now, coming up, we are getting ever so closely. We're about 17 minutes away from the opening pitch here today live in Poplar Bluff. It is the Mules. It is the Bulldogs of Van Buren. And going back through the record books, I could not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying I couldn't find anywhere where Poplar Bluff has faced Van Buren in high school baseball. So there's something for you right there. So we'll see here today what the Mules have in store for the Bulldogs out of Van Buren. We are just getting started here on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning still in Poplar Bluff, and looking right now, temperature-wise, we are sitting at 51 degrees, and the winds right now, they are howling from the west-northwest at 24 miles an hour, gusting at times to about 35. So the good news is we are inside the press box. I haven't even opened my window yet just because of all the wind that we have. I'm trying to keep my papers pinned down the best of my ability. You can hear the wind in the crowd mic a little bit, and thankfully we are not down on field level. We're about a level above, and I may have to move that crowd mic. I'm not sure yet as to what direction I can put it to where it's not going to be a factor. I think, honestly, it's probably at the best spot where it is. So that being said, we are going to take a quick timeout, and we are getting set for Mules baseball on this Saturday afternoon. We've got a big week ahead of us coming up on this next week in high school baseball, and also we are just very, very fortunate. Tim and I were talking on the ride up here this morning how fortunate we are here in Southeast Missouri. Yesterday, they were predicting, just a lot of severe weather in the area. Thankfully, that did not come to fruition. Now, that being said, last night around 7:20, we did have multiple tornado warnings in the area, Butler County, Stoddard County, but the good news is it was all just radar indicated and nothing came of it. No damage reports, which is thankfully. Our thoughts and prayers, even this morning, still go to those in Little Rock, Arkansas, also in Wynne, Arkansas, where they just got hammered with tornadoes, strong tornadoes in those areas. Our thoughts and prayers are with the residents down there in Little Rock and in Wynne, Arkansas. I will tell you that Tuesday, the upcoming Tuesday, looking like another potential severe weather day. It is springtime after all, and we'll talk about all that coming up throughout the broadcast as well. But in the meantime, we're going to try to focus on some high school baseball, Poplar Bluff and Van Buren. Coming up in just a few moments, we will have the opening lineups. We are less than 14 minutes until the opening pitch. You're listening and watching Mules Baseball Live on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. And we are back here live in Poplar Bluff, and we are coming up on 10:50 on this Saturday morning, early afternoon hours. 51 degrees right now in Poplar Bluff, and coming up, we will see the daytime high reaching about 60 by the time this game comes to a close. That's where we believe that the temperatures will be. In the meantime, we are watching Van Buren get their infield, outfield all wrapped up. And we talked about this a moment ago, but one of our former coaches is back with us here today. He is the head coach out of Van Buren, and we're talking about Coach Jacob Nicholson. He was an assistant coach to Steve Edwards a few years ago. Also, Brian Hawkins is Brian Hawkins, rather. Bryce is his son. Brian Hawkins is the assistant coach on this team. It was good to catch up with Nicholson earlier on this morning and kind of pick his thoughts on this upcoming ball game between Bluff and Van Buren. So this afternoon, the Mules are going to be wearing their maroon jersey tops with the white pants and the white numbering. As you can see on the Facebook and YouTube feed, Van Buren is wearing their gold jersey tops, or the yellow jersey tops, with the black pants and the black numbering. Van Buren coming in to this contest with a record of 1-6 on the year. Their lone win came against Twin Rivers back on March 18th. It was a doubleheader where since that time they opened up the season against Woodland at the Woodbat weekend. They lost against Woodland on the 17th, 6-5. They lost to Houston, Missouri, which is in central Missouri, 8-2. South Pemiscot, they lost 3-2. They did beat Twin Rivers 3-2. They lost at Kennett 13-2, and they lost at Willow Springs 6-4. And recently on Thursday, they lost to Alton 4-2. They were supposed to play Naylor yesterday, but because of all the potential severe weather, that game was postponed. So Naylor coming in to this game overall with a record of 1-6. Their first 7 games haven't gone the way they wanted it to. Their away record, by the way, this year so far, not a neutral site, just a pure away game, is 0-3. And by the way, they are coming into this ball game averaging about 3 runs a ball game, giving up around 6 runs a ball game. Now looking at Poplar Bluff, the Mules coming in to this ball game. Poplar Bluff, meanwhile, they are 1-1 so far here at home. They are averaging 7 runs a ball game, giving up nearly 9 runs a ball game. Their record this year is 3-4. And the Mules opened up this year back on March 17th against Neelyville right here at home. We beat them 14-4. Then the Mules would lose the next 2 games. The following Monday at North County, lost that game in extra innings 8-4, make that 5-4 rather. And then against New Madrid on Thursday, they would lose 7-1 in New Madrid. And then the next Saturday on the 25th, the Mules in a doubleheader beat Cape Central by a score of 8-7. Lost to Vianney 25-1. And then the following Monday, this past Monday rather, Mules losing against Dexter right here at home 16-5. And then on Thursday, the Mules took on Naylor, won that game with no issue 15-1. And by the way, our coaching staff this year for the Poplar Bluff Mules, they include our head coach. You heard from him earlier on, John David Patillo. Also, our first base coach is Casey Beese, our first base coach is Tyler Mathis. Our pitching coach, it is Casey Beese, and our dugout coach is Jeffrey McLevin. He is our dugout coach here for this season. As the Mules, we've got a man out there running right now. He is running full sprint right now, goes all the way to center field, and he runs all the way back in. He'll slide in as soon as he gets to third base. Here comes the slide. There it is. That's usually David Durbin who does that, but today it wasn't David Durbin. Instead, it looks like that was Marcus. No, it wasn't Marcus. What number is that? Well, he's wearing Marcus Tabanera's number, but that must be a JV player because there's Marcus Tabanera there. He's in the huddle. So We're about ready to go for the opening pitch. As you can see, Coach Nicholson and Coach Patillo right now both are meeting out there at home plate. By the way, the home plate umpire for today is Keith McMahon. Our field umpire is Dalton Freshour. So what we'll do is we're going to pause for about 40 seconds, and we'll come right back and we'll introduce you to our lineups. And the first pitch is on the way between Poplar Bluff and Van Buren. You're watching live coverage of Mules baseball and listening live on the radio. This is the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. All right, so we wanted to thank our sponsors on the radio side of things for Mules Baseball. We'll be thanking them all afternoon long, and we are gearing up now for the starting lineups. And, of course, the first pitch of the afternoon for Bluff and Van Buren. A pretty good crowd here today, believe it or not. A lot of Mules fans here, and a big shout-out to the Mules Booster Club. They are actually grilling right now. I can smell that barbecue in the air all the way in the press box. They are going to be barbecuing for each of our teams here today because the varsity is going to go right into the varsity game as well.
Your pitcher for the Bulldogs today, number 15, Jeremy Jacob.
So we're doing the lineups here, or the PA address announcer, Brandon Spain, is doing that. Van Buren didn't even come out, so they're not used to starting lineups being announced. The Mules here are going to do their lineups here right now. We'll be introducing our lineups. We'll let Tim get that on camera. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, being introduced is Dylan Hall. There is Noah Spain, also Kason King coming out. Now Noah Spain's coming out. Colby Greenwald, he's standing there on second base wearing number 18. Marcus Tabanera coming out wearing number 1. Also, the pitcher is Dylan Bratcher. And the catcher is Miles Johnson. Bryce Dobbs will be the DH man here today. David Durbin's going to play left field, and then Cameron Settle will play right. We're going to go down field side for the playing of our national anthem, and we'll come back and we'll have the opening pitch between Bluff and Van Buren. Our national anthem. That being said, let's introduce you now to our lineups here today for the Van Buren Bulldogs. We're going to start offensively, and then we'll meet our starters defensively for your Poplar Bluff Mules. Leading off for the Bulldogs of Van Buren, he wears number 17, Gage Van Landingham. Batting second, number 4, Benjamin Hawkins. Also batting third at or I should say number 32, Jonah Reed batting cleanup, wearing number 1. Elijah Van Wagner batting 5th. He is number 30. Holden Ellis batting 6th. The sophomore, number 2, Cole Kemp batting 7th. Number 22, Noah Kinney batting 8th. He is a freshman, number 8, Brady Smith, and batting 9th, number 27, Bryce Hawkins. And not batting today, he'll be the pitcher. He wears number 15, Jeremy Jaco. Now looking defensively at your Poplar Bluff Mules. No major changes defensively in center field. It is Dylan Hall. Over in right field, Cameron Settle. Playing left field today is David Durbin. Also looking at the infield now for the Mules at third base is Kobe Greenwald. Over at shortstop is Noah Spain. Second base, Marcus Tabanera. Over at first, one of our 2 seniors in the starting lineup is Kason King. Behind the plate, Miles Johnson. And pitching today for the Mules, a junior, number 15, Dylan Bratcher. He is coming in to this season with a record of 2-1 so far. He has pitched 9 innings, 13 hits, 6 runs. All 6 have been earned. He has walked 8 batters, struck out 13, also hit a couple of batters. No wild pitches and no balks so far during this season. So there you go. Those are the starting lineups here today for the Mules as well as the Van Buren Bulldogs. We are moments away right now from the opening pitch. Tim Hicks is doing a phenomenal job as always on the camera. I'm Frankie Castillo, and we are about ready for the opening pitch here today between the Mules and the Bulldogs out of Van Buren. It is 51 degrees here in Poplar Bluff. We are so glad that you are with us. The first pitch is coming up. Our game time temperature 51 degrees, and we are starting today's game right at 11 o'clock. This one is a base hit to right field, out to Cameron Settle. And we are underway. 1 pitch and a base hit to begin the ball game. So Van Landingham winds up on first base, swinging on the first pitch, and just like that, a quick hit by Van Buren. A runner on, nobody out here in the top of inning number 1. Terry Bratcher, she is sitting right next to the mic, and she'll try to keep it down. Thank you, Terry, I appreciate that. She is sitting right there by the first base, or I should say the home plate mic. So we appreciate her. She does so much for this team as well. You can say whatever you want, Terry. I promise you I'll bleep it out. No, I can't promise that. I don't have that bleep button set up yet. 1 ball, no strikes here to the second batter, Benjamin Hawkins. This one is fouled away to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Van Landingham is standing on first base. First base runner of the afternoon for the Van Buren Bulldogs. Camilla Vaughn says, let's go Dylan. Make sure and tell Coach Jim Vaughn hi for me, Miss Camille. This one fouled away, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bratcher now ahead in the count with 1 ball and 2 strikes. So now Bratcher is going to come set. Bratcher coming in as earned run average this season, 4.667. Time is called by the home plate umpire. By the way, the home plate umpire once again today is Keith McMahon. In the field, it is Dalton Freshour. And now Johnson going to walk out and talk to his pitcher, Dylan Bratcher, kind of calm him down, make sure those two were on the same page. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the first inning, just underway in Poplar Bluff. Just a gorgeous day. Take away the wind, and it would be absolutely amazing. Here is a 1-2 pitch on the way. This one inside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Van Buren has a hit with a man on first base. That's Van Landingham. And you can tell the wind, boy, it is really whipping out there. 24 miles an hour, sustained wind, gusting at times to near 35. This one a foul tip there by Hawkins, and we'll do it again. It's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Glad to have Coach Jim Vaughn and Camille Vaughn tuning in Osage Beach, Missouri. Glad you guys are tuning in. What's the weather like in Osage Beach? Is it nice and cool and windy like it is here? Here is the 2-2 pitch on the way. This one grounded toward third base. Greenwald going to go to second base, and a little high And the runners are going to stay put on first and second base. We'll see how they score that one, as now a runner is on first and second base. So they're going to score that one in E5 on the high throw by Greenwald at third base. So runners now on first and second base, nobody out for the Van Buren Bulldogs, and Jonah Reed, third baseman, coming up to the plate, and he'll take ball one outside. Mules get their first error of the ball game here in the first inning. So the Mules now with two, or I should say Van Buren-wise, with a couple of runners on, with an error by the Mules. The infield coming in for Poplar Bluff. This one is in there for a strike. Strike one, 1 ball and 1 strike. Camille says it is sunny and breezy there as well in Osage, Missouri. Glad to have you guys alongside today for some Mules baseball. We'll be seeing the Kenna Indians coming up in a couple of weeks. This one has popped up down the right field line. Settle goes over and runs out of real estate. And it's going to be a long foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jonah Reed, the third baseman for the Van Buren Bulldogs. Awaiting on deck the DH man, Elijah Van Wagner. Time is called by the home plate umpire there, as making sure that Settle is back where he needs to be in right field. Runners lead away from first and second base. 1-2 pitch, and got him looking for a strike. That's a big out there for the Mules. 1 out here in the top of inning number 1. 1 down on the strikeout. And Elijah Van Wagner coming up to the plate now for Bratcher. That'll be his 14th strikeout of the season so far. So Van Wagner coming up to the plate now. He is the DH man. Runner on first and second base with 1 down here in the inning. Up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So Coach Gene Bess officially going to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame, and Coach Kent Keith sent me a picture. He actually appeared, I think it was this morning, on ESPN. He was being interviewed on the national scene, so nobody deserves it more than Coach Gene Bess to be inducted. He was a finalist back in February. It was announced. And today, he is going to get into the Naismith Hall of Fame, and that's awesome for him and his family. What a big legacy here in Poplar Bluff. So many wonderful memories, him coaching at Three Rivers. There's a strike called on the inside part of the plate. 2 balls and a strike now. No one deserves it more than Coach Gene Bess. By the way, this game is broadcasted live not only on the radio, but also on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Make sure and hit that share button for us on Facebook. Let us know where you're watching from here today. 3 balls and 1 strike to Elijah Van Wagner. Stephen James is tuning in from Claremont, Florida. Oh, they're moving back to Bluff this month. Can't wait to see some live games. They love to have you. This one taken out of play for a foul ball. The count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. How was the weather, Mr. James, down there in Claremont, Florida? Something tells me it's going to be, he'll tell me it's going to be in the 70s and no wind and sunshine, guarantee it. Now, next week in Poplar Bluff and southeast Missouri in general, it's going to be pretty warm next week, as we're going to see temperatures about 80 degrees a lot next week. This one taken outside for a ball, and the inning continues with 1 down, and now the bases are loaded. So the Mules getting off to a not-so-great start here. No runs yet for the Van Buren Bulldogs. However, the Bulldogs, they've got them loaded right now, with only 1 down in the inning. So Bratcher comes set, and here's the first pitch on the way to Hills. This one, ground ball taken. Oh, it's going to go off the glove of Kason King. And then the throw by Tabanera is no good. It's going to go to the backstop, and a couple of runs are going to come in. So we'll see how they score this one, as 2 runs come in to score now It is now 2-0 Van Buren.
To Cole Kemp.
So they're going to wind up and score that one, a base hit to begin with, and then they feel a throwing error rather. This one has popped up out towards center field. It's going to get in between Dylan Hall and David Durbin, and 2 more runs are going to come in to score. And just like that, Van Buren has opened up to a 4-0 lead here in the top of inning number 1. That was Cole Kemp, by the way. So it is 4-0 on a 2-run RBI double. And now Bratcher quickly has given up 4 runs here in the top of inning number 1. And now coming up to the plate is the right fielder, Noah Kinney. And this one is taken for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Still only 1 out here in the inning. So now Kinney, the right fielder. This one taken outside again, 2 balls and no strikes. Mules have 2 errors in the inning. The Van Buren Bulldogs with 3 hits in this top of inning number 1, but the Mules have a couple of errors so far. And this inning has kind of snowballed on the Mules a little bit. This one taken outside for a ball as well, 3 balls and no strikes. Van Buren with a runner on second base with only 1 down here in the inning. I would agree it is too. My good buddy sent me a text message and says, kind of hard to throw a strike in hurricane force winds. I agree with him. This one gets away. And the runner will advance over to third base on the pass ball there. So Kemp now is going to wind up on third base. Still 3 balls and 1 strike. A runner on third base, 1 down. Time is called by the home plate umpire. So here's how the inning began. The leadoff man, Van Landingham, got on with a base hit, and then Hawkins reached on an error on Kobe Greenwald. A walk to Elijah Van Wagner, and this one is taken downstairs for a ball. And now the runners are on the corners with only 1 down here in the inning. So now we're going to see Coach Patillo coming out to settle down his junior. We're already at pitch number 25 upcoming. And I don't know if we're going to see, we may see a pitching change off the bat. Not sure yet. Coach Patillo was looking out toward left field. Looks like he might stay with his current pitcher right now. We'll wait and see what happens. Stacy Rommel tuning in. Let's go Mules, she says. Our broadcast here today is presented by Patriot Auto Glass, also being brought to you by Kevin's Auto Repair, Larry Hillis Dodge, Eye Care Specialist, also being brought to you by First Midwest Bank, Air Solutions, Poplar Bluff Regional Medical Center, the Scott Law Group LLC, PB Realty Legacy Farm and Land Specialist, and being brought to you by Christian's Automotive and Tire. So it looks like that the Mules, for right now, will stay with Bratcher on the mound. So far, 2 walks in the inning by Bratcher, also a strikeout. But the big hit was Cole Kemp on the 2 RBI base hit. 3 hits, 2 base hits, and a double here already in this first inning by the Mules. So Brady Smith, the freshman, coming up to the plate. The runner takes off, and they're going to throw it back to the pitcher's mound. Runner takes off, and not in time. And now the runner will move over to third base. It'll be a throwing error on Johnson to allow the runner to come in and score. Another error by the Mules, and that is number 3 in the ball game. Now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Five to nothing now, Van Buren. This one just misses outside for a ball. So now it is 2 balls and 1 strike. 5-1, or make that 5-0 rather, is the score right now. Brady Smith, 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner on third base right now. Still 1 down in the inning. Swing and a miss, and boy, Bratcher needed that one. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes in the top of inning number 1. Van Buren, they have come out fired up against Poplar Bluff in this game to this point. And now time is called by the home plate umpire. Just getting started here in this ball game. And the Mules right now, this one is inside, another walk, and the inning will continue with runners on first and third base. The 9th hitter of the inning is now coming to the plate. The runner on first base trying to go to second. Good job by Bratcher there. And that'll be the 2nd out of the inning as Smith tried to take off. So now there are 2 down in the inning. This one is hit sharply over to shortstop. Spain to first base is not in time. It was a low throw, and Kaysen King was unable to make the extension and get it from the ground.
Now batting number 17, Gage Van Lingen.
So they're going to see how they wind up, and they score. That last play is going to be an E6. 2 down here in the inning. So 2 down here in the inning, and now we're back to the top of the lineup now. Runner takes off. Here is a throw down to second base. Is not in time. It is now 6-0 in favor of the Van Buren Bulldogs. It's 1 ball and 1 strike here. This one is in there for a called strike as well. Quickly now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And finally, the inning will come to an end but not before Van Buren comes away with 6 runs on 3 hits, but 4 errors on the Mules in the first inning. Mules coming to bat. We are down by 6 runs. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Scott Law Firm is experienced in estate planning and the preparation of documents like wills and trusts. Let the Scott Law Firm help you protect your family and pass along your estate according to your terms. Call Scott Law Firm today at 785-4688.
So 3 walks in the inning, a couple of strikeouts, and for the Mules, it went from bad to worse pretty quick after Bratcher pitched 35 pitches in the first inning, and now the Mules, they trail by 6 runs here early in this ball game. So now we'll see what the Mules can do coming up in their home part of the first inning. Let's take a look now at our lineup here today for the Poplar Bluff Mules. Leading off for the Mules, he is the center fielder, number 2, Dylan Hall. Batting second at third base, number 18, Colby Greenwald. Batting third, the first baseman, number 23, Kason King. Batting cleanup, he's at shortstop today, number 11, Noah Spain. Batting fifth at DH, number 12, Bryce Dobbs. Batting sixth at second base, number 1, Marcus Tabanera. Batting seventh, he is the pitcher currently, number 15, Dylan Bratcher. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 4, Miles Johnson. Batting ninth at left field, number 10, David Durbin. Not batting, but in right field, number 5, Cameron Settle. Defensively for the Bulldogs in left field, it is Cole Kemp. In right field, Noah Kinney. At center field, Brady Smith. Around the horn at third base is Jonah Reed. At shortstop, Benjamin Hawkins. At second base, Gage Van Landingham. At first base, Holden Hillis. Behind the plate is Bryce Hawkins. And on the mound, number 15, one of 2 seniors for the Bulldogs, number 15, Jeremy Jaco. Coming in the ball game, 1-1 so far this season. 9 1/3 innings pitched, 16 hits, 10 runs, and none of them are earned. And we are underway with a strike 1 called right down the middle. He has walked 10, struck out 10. He has hit 2 batters and 1 wild pitch so far this season for Mr. Jaco on the mound. This one misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Mules giving up 6 runs in that first inning on 4 errors by the Mules. This one misses up high again, 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Mules now, as Dylan Hall coming up to the plate now. This one is popped straight up near first base. Hills gets underneath it, and he will make the out. So 1 down here in the inning. 1 up and 1 down for the Mules, and next up is Colby Greenwald for the Mules as he comes up to the plate. Greenwald so far this season, he is batting so far .294 on the season. He's got 3 RBIs and 5 hits so far this season through 7 games. This one inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes now, as Greenwald trying to be the first man on base for the Mules. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a strike right down the pike. 1 ball and 1 strike. We have a long way to go in this ball game. Mules down here 6-0. There's a ground ball hit sharply to Hawkins over to first base, and in time for the out. 2 up and 2 down. That one goes at 6-3 on the out, and the first 2 batters for the Mules have been retired with no problem. That one goes 6-3, and now Kason King is up to the plate now for the Mules. King he's had a great season so far this year. There's a strike called, so he's quickly down. No balls and a strike. Kason King batting .368 this season. 4 doubles already this year. leads the team in RBIs with 6, and there's a strike called. That one looked to be a little outside. But nevertheless, King now behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. There's a ground ball hit sharply to Hawkins. He comes in for it on the run. Throw is got him. Bang, bang play. Boy, that did not take long whatsoever. 3 up and 3 down for the Mules. It took just 10 pitches. We are going to the top of inning number 2, and the Mules trail right now by a score of 6-0. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Southeast Signs and Graphics of Poplar Bluff can handle all of your printing needs, from t-shirts, wall displays, banners, and so much more. Call their team at 573-772-5566 or get to southeastsignsandgraphics.com.
And we are back here live in Poplar Bluff. The Mules down 6-0 as we get ready for the top of inning number 2. It'll be Hawkins, Reed, and Van Wagner all due up in the inning. If anybody gets on, Holden Ellis, or Holden Hills rather, will be the 4th batter of the inning. Here is the pitch on the way by Bratcher, and there's a called strike. No balls and a strike here to begin the inning and the top of inning number 2. We'll see what the Mules here can do in the second inning, giving up 6 runs on 3 hits in that first inning. There's a ground ball down the first base line and foul. So no balls and 2 strikes. My son Chance is tuning in today. He's a weather phenomenon. He loves weather. Boy, he was all over the weather yesterday. You have no idea, Tim, how much you wanted to be there in the studio with us. They're going to appeal to first base, and they're going to say he went, and there's a first out of the inning. 1 down here in the top of inning number 2. Good start for Bratcher here as we are in the top of inning number 2. First out of the inning. Nobody on. Jonah Reed has struck out looking his first time. So now Reed comes up to the plate. Bratcher threw 35 pitches last inning. There's a ground ball hit sharply, and this one is going to go foul. Good job by Bratcher and by Johnson to let that ball go in foul territory. I don't think if they would have touched it, they would have had a play at first base. Very quick on the base pads is Jonah Reed. So good heads-up play by the Mules. Mules down at 6-0 right now to the Bulldogs of Van Buren. Bratcher comes set. This one has to get out of the way is Reed. And it's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Mules still hitless so far in the ball game. The Van Buren Bulldogs right now, they've got 6 runs on 3 hits. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Bratcher. Now he's ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good crowd here today for Van Buren as well. Bluff brings a crowd, as does Van Buren. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Misses inside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And Johnson at first base got him. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 down here in the inning. So that's a big help there as the Mules quickly. Good job by Johnson, able to get the ball down to first base with no issues. Elijah Van Wagner now coming up to the plate. Van Wagner walked and scored his first time. This one just misses outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Lana Hager is tuning in today. She is rooting for the Van Buren Bulldogs. Glad to have her alongside. Of course, she's married to a good friend of ours, Tim Hager, the voice of the Raiders. I bet Tim and I bet everybody, the gang, had a blast going down to Lubbock, Texas here recently. Strike is called. 1 ball and 1 strike. Holden Hills is on deck. If Van Wagner is able to get on base, congratulations again to Coach Gene Bess. Oh, that one's going to hit him in the back. So the first 2 outs were on strikeouts, and now we get a hit by batsman or hit by pitch there, and a runner on first base. And now Holden Hills coming up to the plate. I was going to say, Coach Gene Bess inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. Back over to first base is not in time. Coach Kent Keith sent me an image of Coach Bess being interviewed this morning on ESPN. Boy, no one deserves it more than Coach Gene Bess. There's a ground ball hit sharply up the middle, and Spain could not come up with it. The runner is going to go through the sign to third base, and it works out in his favor. And the runners now advance to second. They've got runners on second and third base, and there are 2 down in the inning.
Now batting number 2, Cole Kemp.
So 2 runners on and 2 down in the inning. And now Cole Kemp, a 2 RBI double his first time, and there's a strike coming in from Bratcher. No balls and 1 strike now. Van Buren 4 hits in this ball game to this point. Mules are still looking for their first hit. There's a ground ball hit sharply right to Noah Spain. Spain on the run, got him at first base. And this time they score none and strand 2 runners. No runs on 1 hit, 2 left on base. It took 14 pitches this time. We are going to the bottom of inning number 2. It'll be Spain, Dobbs, and Tabanera when we come back. You're listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers is a 3rd-generation family-owned jewelry and repair store who have served the Poplar Bluff community for over 60 years.
Our family has always worked hard to provide the finest jewelry creations and service imaginable.
Before we go any farther, let's pause 10 seconds now for station identification on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. And we are back, and the first pitch taken to Noah Spain is called for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes here to the Mules at shortstop. Noah Spain coming in batting .368. There's a strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's got 4 RBIs this season on 7 hits. 6 have been base hits and the 1 double. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a swing and a miss, and now he's behind. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tim Hicks on the camera. I'm Frankie Castillo. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on today's talk. 93.3 FM, 930 AM, KWOC. And we are streaming online at KWOC.com as well as on Facebook and on YouTube. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and this one just misses. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mules looking for their first base runner of the ball game so far. And they will get it there. There is a leadoff walk for the Mules, and the Mules have a runner on base now for the first time. Noah Spain is going to trot down to first base. Coming up to the plate now is Bryce Dobbs. Dobbs is batting .235 on the season so far. So the Mules have their leadoff man aboard, first base runner of the ball game for the Mules. By the way, Van Buren so far, they have stranded 3 runners through 2 innings for them. Awaiting on deck is Marcus Tabanera. Boy, this young man, he has really been a good hitter for the Mules. He's batting .333 this year. Spain leads away from first base, down by 6 runs. This one, get out for a hit. Yes, it does. And just like that, Bryce Dobbs gets the first hit of the ball game. And now the Mules have runners on first and second base. That was a good hit to right field. Keeney, right place, right time.
Now batting, number 1.
So Marcus Tabanera coming up to the plate. Tabanera with runners on second and third base this season so far. He is batting .500 on the season thus far. Dylan Hall, or make that Noah Spain rather, standing on second base, and there's a strike called with no balls and 1 strike. So far this season, Noah Spain, he's got 4 stolen bases on the season out of 4 tries. We'll see how aggressive Patillo wants to be. This one is ripped down the line. It's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Mules finally have some base runners on. This one popped up, this one out to right field. Underneath it is Keeney, and he makes the catch. Boy, the wind playing some havoc out there, but Keeney was at the right place and the right time for the first out of the inning. That's a big out there, as Tabanera was unable to advance the runners over. 1 down here in the inning, and now Dylan Bratcher coming up to the plate now. Tell you what, some people in this world, they've got it rough. I tell you what. Just got a message from a buddy of mine who sent me his view, his living room view for the next 4 days. I won't tell you who it is. I don't want to call him out, but I'm jealous. He is watching right now Mules baseball. Strike 1 is called. No balls and a strike now to Dylan Bratcher. Bratcher batting .231 this season, 4 RBIs. This one popped up. This one's going to get down for a hit. 1 run's going to come in to score. RBI number 5 now. And now the runner takes off from second base, and he'll move over to third. So Dobbs, amazing base running there, and the Mules now have him on the corners with only 1 down in the inning. Mules have their first run of the ball game.
14, Aiden Dawes stepping up to the plate, number 4, Miles Johnson.
And Dawes now is going to come in, and he'll run for Bratcher. So Aiden Dawes is going to be the courtesy runner. Now the Mules have them on the corners. This one called for a strike. No balls and a strike. As Miles Johnson now steps in now. So Mules get their first run of the ball game. Runner takes off. It is Aiden Dawes, and he'll have it no problem on the pass ball. He was taken off, and we'll see how they score that one. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's going to be a pass ball. No play by the catcher. Runners on first and second base. 2 balls and a strike now. Mules have a run on the board now. Mules have a 1 run on 2 hits, and was he able to hold up? No, he was not. Johnson, they're going to say he went around. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Miles Johnson batting 100 this season. He's got an RBI with the base hit. Swing and a miss, and he is down on strikes. Good pitch. And there's now 2 down in the inning. So 2 down, and David Durbin coming up to the plate. Boy, Durbin knows the importance of those 2 runs at sitting there on second and third base. Durbin batting .667 with runners in scoring position this year alone. Strike 1, swing and a miss. Durbin, by the way, he's got 2 RBIs this year. He doesn't get many opportunities with runners in scoring position. He tried to bunt. He went around quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. Keith Porter tuning in for the Mules. Watching David Durbin right now at the plate. Mike Deal all the way from the Tri-Cities in Washington. Glad to have you alongside, my friend. This one gets away from the catcher, and the Mules do have a run come in on the pitch. It's a wild pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes now as the Mules score their second run of the ball game. And now a runner on third base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. And the inning, oh, he dropped the ball and he's safe, and the run comes in anyway. So the first baseman dropped it and could not come up with it, and the Mules will wind up and score a run based on the error.
Now batting, number 2, Dylan Hall. Hey, 5-1-3.
So now the Mules with a runner on first base. And now David Durbin takes off in a throwing error. He's going to wind up on third base now. 1 ball and no strikes, and Durbin has a stolen base and then winds up on third base because of the throwing error. One ball, no strikes. It is now 6-3. Mules trail by just 3 runs. In there for a called strike, and the crowd didn't like that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Miss Patillo is tuning in. Glad to have you alongside. There's a swing and a miss, and now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. My pleasure, Miss Patillo. Love high school sports. Love our Mules. There's a ground ball. This one is foul. Although I will say, Miss Patillo, he's getting better at this interviewing stuff. It took about 7 games, but now he knows to come up before the games, and he's getting pretty good about coming up after the games, too. He's just not used to it, and I get it. We'll change all that by the end of this season. This one gets away from the catcher, and the Mules are going to score a run. And now the Mules have come back in the ball game. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, and the Mules now trail 6-4.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
After a devastating start for the Mules, they have come back in the ball game. There's a rip down the first base line and foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. It is now 6-4. Van Buren has a small lead right now, but the Mules are back in the game. This one pops straight up along the infield. Van Landingham calls everybody off, and he will make the catch at second base. But the Mules come away with 4 runs on 2 hits. Nobody left on base. An error, by the way, charged to Van Buren. You're listening and watching Mules baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. No balls and a strike. This one is in there for a called strike as well. 2 strikes now. No balls and 2 strikes. Mules have 4 runs on 2 hits, 4 errors. Van Buren has 6 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. Swing and a miss. And Johnson gonna throw it to first base and in time for the out. Good job again by Johnson, and 1 down in the inning.
Now batting number 8, Brady Smith.
So Brady Smith now coming up to the plate. Smith walked his first time rather, and got picked off. Got caught stealing on the walk. We are in the top of inning number 3. Strike is called. No balls and a strike. Here's the pitch by Bratcher. It's fouled out of play. No balls and 2 strikes now. Bryce Hawkins awaiting on deck. He reached on an error back in the first on an E6. 6-4 is the current score right now. Mules have climbed back in this ball game. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. This one's popped out to left field. Durbin over to, he tried to make the catch. It's going to bounce off his knee, and we'll see how they score that one. It's going to be a hit, I would imagine. Yep, they're going to score that one a double there. Good job there by Durbin as he tried to make that catch. He leaned out for it, just could not make the catch. Runner on second base now. And Bryce Hawkins comes up to the plate with 1 on and 1 down in the inning. Hawkins grounded out to the shortstop, and we've got ourselves a pitching change coming up. Bratcher's day is done. We'll get you all these statistics coming up and pitches, and they will do that. He's going to end today at 55 with a runner on second. And listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Caring for those you love also means taking good care of yourself. At Poplar Bluff, it's important to be healthy now and stay well in the future. With same or next day appointments and online scheduling, we make it easy to make your health.
So we are back here, and the Mules have a new pitcher on the mound, and Bratcher, he goes 2 1/3 innings so far today, and gave up 5 runs, or make that 6 runs rather, on 5 hits, and he's responsible for the man on second base right now. So Bratcher is now going to move over to first base, as Kaysen King now is the new pitcher, and there is a swing and a foul tip. So Bratcher is going to move over, and he'll play first base for the remainder of the game, at least for right now anyway. So no balls and a strike here. And he went around. Runner down to third base is not in time. It'll be a stolen base for Smith, and he will be on there with a runner on third base. It's now no balls and 2 strikes. 1 down here in the inning, and Smith with a double and then a stolen base. No balls and 2 strikes here. And this one just misses downstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kaysen King, by the way, this season, King is winless this season. He's 0-0. He's pitched 4 2/3 innings as the ball's taken outside. 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. He's walked 1, struck out 5, and hit a batter. He's also been charged with 1 wild pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Right back and fire.
2-2.
2 balls and 2 strikes here. You hear the home plate umpire. Inside pitch is taken for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch, strike 3 is called, and Kaysen King punches him out. 2 down in the inning. Big out there by King.
Now batting number 17, Gage Van Landingham.
So now we're back to the top of the lineup here with Gage Van Landingham, who struck out his last time. This one taken for a ball. Good job by Johnson, keeping it right in front of him. 1 ball and no strikes. Some other baseball games going on today. Cape Central, they're going to be at home, and they will take on the Dexter Bearcats. This one inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. We were there last weekend for the Cape and Poplar Bluff game. I'm not sure about that triangle, Ron. Call me next week. Ooh, misses up high for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. You got a weather triangle on your phone that won't go away. I'm not sure about that one, Ron. That may be a new one. I'll look that up and see what's up and try to get back to you. And runners now on the corners as Landingham winds up on first base following a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting number 4, Benjamin Hawkins.
So Hawkins now coming up to the plate. He is 0 for 2 so far today. He has reached on an error and struck out looking his last time. Time is called by Johnson. He'll walk out, or at least walk a couple of steps toward the mound and back up to home plate, and we'll get started now. Here is the pitch on the way. This one up high. Johnson back to Kaysen King. And the runner on third base, Smith, was not fooled as Van Landingham will take off, and he will end up on first base with a stolen base. Second and third base now with 2 down in the inning. If the Mules can get out of this now by 2 runs, it's 6-4 Van Buren. They got all 6 runs in the first. This would be huge for the Mules. A ground ball hit sharply to Tabanera over to first base in time, and the Mules get out of a big jam. So Van Buren once again strands 2 runners on 1 hit. It's Greenwald, King, and Spain when we come back. Mules down 6-4. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Want a career and not just another job? It's waiting for you at Briggs & Stratton. Great pay, great benefits, and continuing education. Everything you and your family deserve. Go to careers.basco.com and look at Poplar Bluff job openings.
Breathe easier and extend the life of your HVAC system, plus fewer repair bills with Air Solutions Comprehensive Maintenance Plan. You'll save money and get the peace of mind that only comes from calling Air Solutions. 785-1500.
Van Buren strands 2 more runners on the base paths, and the Mules get out of a jam. Still down 6-4 so far in today's game. The Bulldogs have stranded 5 runners through 3 innings. Mules have only stranded, well, they've stranded none so far in this ball game, but they were able to put up 4 runs on the board last inning. There goes Coach Mathis. He is trotting down to first base. Coach Patillo on third base here this afternoon for the Mules. Our pitching coach is Casey Beese. And now Colby Greenwald. He's 0 for 1 here in the ball game. Grounded out to shortstop his first time. Takes strike 1, a little bit outside, but enough at the plate. No balls and a strike. So Mules down by 1 run. There's a ground ball hit again to Hawkins over to first base and got him by half a step. A bang-bang play, 1 up and 1 down here in the inning. It goes 6-3 on the out.
Now batting, number 43, Kason King.
So Kason King coming up to the plate now. King grounded out to shortstop his first time. This one, rocket shot down the third base line and foul. You can hear some of the fans telling him to wait on that pitch. No balls and a strike. It's 330 down the left field and right field line. Straightaway 400 in straightaway center. King trying to get on base. He is 0 for 1 so far today. Outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. So our starting pitcher, Dylan Bratcher, threw 55 pitches today. Swing and a miss, and now he's behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kason King came in last inning and threw 12 pitches to get out of a jam. So now we'll see what King can do with down already 2 strikes. There's Lisa Durbin. She is here in attendance. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, that's David Durbin's mother. And this one is fouled away again, so we'll do it again. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Van Buren has 6 runs on 5 hits. Mules have 4 runs on 2 hits. Van Buren has 1 error. The Mules have 4. This one popped up straight away to left in center field. This one's going to get down for a hit. King has another double on the season, and he will stop on second. No, he's going to keep going. They throw it to second, and he is out at third base. Good play by the Van Buren Bulldogs on the replay. It looked like he was safe, but I get paid to call the games. 2 down in the inning.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 down in the inning and a ball taken. They'll give him a credit for the double. And then just a great play by the outfield. Oh, there's a base hit. It could have been runners on first and third. Noah Spain, he's going to blow. He's going to go to second base, and he's in time. That was down the line, and that one is back-to-back hits for the Mules. And now the Mules have a runner on second base with 2 down in the inning.
Now batting, number 12, Bryce Dobbs.
So Bryce Dobbs coming up to the plate, a base hit, and he scored a run his last time up. Already for Jeremy Jaco, 48 pitches thrown in 2 2/3 innings. Dobbs now, well, that's a big run standing on second base. They're going to go back to second base, not in time, as the second baseman, Van Lanningham, was way off the bag. Spain able to get back with no problem. Spain, by the way, they're going to give him a credit for the double that last time out, his second double of the season. He is standing on second base. Dobbs would love to drive him in. This one is outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Looking at some of the numbers for Bryce Hall, or make that 4, not Bryce Hall, for Bryce Dobbs rather. Dobbs is batting 167 this year with runners on second and third base, and not in time at second base. Boy, Van Lanningham this time was playing much closer to the bag. Boy, pretty chilly out there today. It's 51 degrees at game time. The wind is what the problem is. We have just surpassed 1 hour on the air. Here is the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. No balls and a strike. We owe you a legal ID. We'll take it now. 10 seconds on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. No, we'll wait on this next pitch. Don't want to miss a hit here, possibly. Swing and a miss. Now we'll take it on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. Pitch taken for a ride, out of play down the first base line. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. It is 12:02 on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Frankie Castile alongside with Tim Hicks, and you're watching and listening to Mules Baseball. This one is down the line. It's fair for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in. And now it is a 6-5 ball game. Boy, how important was that run by Kason King? Could have been possibly a tie game. A single down the right field line with Spain's speed. He is able to score with no problem.
Now batting, number 1.
It is now 6-5 the score. So 3 straight hits here in the inning here for the Mules, as the Mules now are down by just 1 run. Mules have, or Bryce Dobbs rather, standing on first base. It's 1 ball and no strikes now to Marcus Tabanera. This one is popped straight up. This one is going to get down for a base hit. So the Mules continuing now the onslaught with another base hit. Runners on first and second base. 2 down in the inning. And now Dylan Bratcher coming up. He's got an RBI base hit as well. The tying run standing on second base. Bratcher right now is in line for the loss in the game, but that can go to a no decision if he's able to tie the ball game up with this hit. Inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Mules Booster Club doing a phenomenal job on the grill downstairs. I can smell that barbecue all the way up here. 2 balls and no strikes. And the runner takes off and got him at third base. Dobbs is caught stealing on the pass ball, and the inning is going to come to a close. We'll come right back. The Mules are now down 6-5. You're listening and watching Mules baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Christian Automotive and Tire. Quality name brand tires that you know and trust. They also have ASE certified mechanics that have the training, tools, and knowledge to fix your vehicle right the first time. Business 67 South in Poplar Bluff. Eye Care Specialists is committed to the protection and the preservation of the precious gift of sight. Nothing is more important than your eyesight. That's the way the doctors of Eye Care Specialists see it.
Mules having a couple of key mistakes there on the base paths in that last inning. The first one by Kason King as he tried to stretch that double into maybe a triple, but it would have been a double regardless, and he was thrown out all the way from left field into second base. And then Bryce Dobbs got caught stealing between second and third base as good job by Hawkins as he dropped the baseball, was able to get it real quickly and make the throw to third base and got Dobbs by a step and a half, and that's how the inning will come to a close. But the Mules do pick up a run on 4 hits in the inning, and the Mules do strand one runner, and the Mules are now down by just 1 run. It is a much different feel for the game than it was back in the first inning, I'll tell you that. Ron, I haven't heard that, my friend. He's saying the audio is skipping. I don't hear that on my end, my friend. It may be your device. I'm hoping that's what it is. Nobody else has let me know that the audio is skipping, so there's the ground ball hit sharply. Good backhand by Noah Spain. To first base is not there. Good job there by Johnson there to back up the throw. Boy, that was just a hard hit ball all the way around. See how they end up, and they score that one as Reed is now on first base.
Now batting number 1, Elijah Van.
They're going to give him a hit on that. So a runner on first base with nobody out here in the inning. Elijah Van Wagner is up to the plate now. Van Wagner has walked and hit by a pitch. Up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Good to see Joshua Knight. They're saying it's happening on their phones, Tim, so I'm not sure. This one is out to left field, a base hit. Out to David Durbin, and now the Van Buren Bulldogs have 2 on and nobody out in the inning. So back-to-back hits in the inning. And now Hills is coming up to the plate. So Hills will come up to the plate now. We'll see if they are able to continue. So Kason King comes set, and here's the first pitch. This one taken for a ball outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. And the Mules right now trail by a score of 6-5, but the Van Buren Bulldogs, they've got runners on first and second base with nobody out. Here's the pitch on the way here by Kason King. It's taken for another ball, 2 balls and no strike.
All you, baby. Right. Double play down. I've 2 on swing.
3 balls and no strikes here. We're going to make one adjustment here on the audio, so just bear with me if you're listening to us on Facebook. And there's a strike call. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls and a strike. See if that fixed the audio issues. I don't know if it did or not. We're trying to fix it on the fly here. Tim says he don't have any issues going into his headset. This one is up high. It's going to fall in for a base hit. And the bases are going to be loaded with nobody out here in the inning. Well, that was a good hard single to center field. And now the bases are loaded. There's nobody out in the inning. 3 straight hits here to begin the inning.
Now batting number 2, Cole Kemp.
Hey, hot, Cole Kemp.
So now Cole Kemp is coming up to the plate, 1 for 2, a 2 RBI double back in the first, and grounded out the short his last time up. In there for a called strike. Good pitch by Kason King. He threw 12 pitches last inning. He's up to pitch number 10 in this inning. And that skipping, I'm not sure if it's what it is, but it could be the wind in the background you're hearing too. I'm not really sure. I'm not hearing the skipping on our end, so I'm hoping that has fixed it. 6-5 is the score right now. The Mules trying to hang in there, down by 1 run. That wind is howling toward left center. Turn the crowd mic off for just a moment and see if that fixes anything. Tim, let me know if you hear anything. There's a swing and a miss. And now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the inning as no outs. And right now for the Bulldogs of Van Buren, they are up by a run, but they've got runners on every base right now. And this one fouled away, and we'll keep it at 1 ball and 2 strikes. All right, good deal. So Ron says it may have fixed it. Everything sounds good. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. Not sure what the issue was. We apologize for the skipping. Technology at its finest. That's all we can say. You take a radio broadcast, you add in video to it, and who knows what's going to happen. A base hit to center field, another hit, and 2 runs are going to come in to score. So the Van Buren Bulldogs, they get 2 runs back on 4 consecutive hits. 2 of them back-to-back to Dylan Hall. Boy, Cole Kemp, he has had a big game, 4 RBIs. That one a 2 RBI base hit. It is now 8-5 the score. As Reed and Wagner both come in to score. This one is another base hit. This one out to left field. And the runners are going to all hold, and now we're going to see Coach Patillo coming out. John David Patillo. And runners now, once again, the bases are loaded again. And we may see another pitching change coming in. We'll see what Patillo does. I believe we're going to see a pitching change, and if we do, we'll go to timeout. In the meantime, it is 8-5 now in favor of the Van Buren Bulldogs. As they quickly now, they just jump out on the Mules. The Mules got a couple of runs back, and then Van Buren was able to at least add on 2 more for right now. Our ball game here today proudly presented by Taco John's, First Choice Insurance, Briggs & Stratton, also Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, Russians Towing, PB Realty, Legacy Farm and Land Specialists, the Scott Law Group LLC, Poplar Bluff Regional Medical Center, our good friends at Air Solutions, First Midwest Bank, Christian Automotive and Tire, also Eye Care Specialist, Larry Hillis Dodge, Patriot Auto Glass, and Kevin's Auto Repair. So in the meantime, Kason King is going to be left on the mound here in the top of inning number 4. And it is an 8-5 game right now with the Mules down by 3 runs. They were down by 1. And now Smith coming up to the plate. He has doubled and walked here in the ball game. He's also been stranded twice here in the game. Bases are loaded. He shows bunt. He goes around for the strike. No balls and 1 strike. Man, Van Buren has came in to play now. Randy Merchant, I hear you, my friend. I hear you. 8-5 is the score. Mules Booster Club is down there cooking up some hamburgers and hot dogs, and this one, high fly ball, called off by Noah Spain. The wind is causing all kinds of chaos. He almost dropped it, but man, that wind is howling. It took it all the way near second base, and finally the Mules getting out here. One down in the inning.
Now batting number 27, Bryce Dawkins.
That's a big out there. Good job by Noah Spain at tracking that ball. It goes F6 on the out, so one down. Still runners on every base. It's 8-5. Mules down by 3 runs. This one popped up again on the infield, and Kobe Greenwald, rather. So back-to-back punch-outs via the fly ball, and just like that, within 2 pitches, we've got 2 outs.
Now batting number 17, Gage Van Landingham.
So now we are back to the top of the lineup here with Van Landingham. That one goes in F5. 2 down in the inning. Van Landingham has singled, struck out, and walked. He takes ball 1 a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. It is 8-5 now. The Mules are down by 3 runs. And I'm throwing a chair down apparently. I just wanted to get up for a minute. My bad, Tim. Didn't mean to scare you. I tried to catch it, but you know what? Things happen. Here is the 1-0 pitch, and he's able to hold up, it looks like, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 balls and no strikes to the leadoff man. Van Landingham is 1 for 2 in the ballgame. Still bases are loaded. Van Buren adds 2 more runs in the inning. It is 8-5. Kaysen King comes set, and here's your 2-0 pitch. There's a ground ball hit sharply to third base, and Greenwald is able to step on the bag. And the inning will come to an end, but not before Van Buren adds 2 runs. They strand 2 runners, 2 runs on 5 hits and 2 left on base. We are going to the bottom part of inning number 4. Mules trail 8-5 on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Protecting your toys are just as important as protecting your daily driver. First Choice Insurance can help find the coverage for your ATVs, boats, and campers that will give you peace of mind and not break your bank. So don't forget to allow First Choice Insurance to review your insurance needs today.
Well, we are back here in Poplar Bluff, and the Mules down 8-5. And coming up in this part of the inning, it'll be 7, 8, 9 all due up for the Mules. Bratcher, Johnson, Durbin. If anybody gets on, we are back to the top of the lineup, and that'll go back to Dylan Hall. So the Mules down by 3 runs. They were down by 1, but they were able to put up 2 more runs here in that top of the 4th inning, and now they are back on top by 3 again. So now we'll see what Bratcher can do leading off here in the 4th inning. Thank you so much, Tim. Tim Hager is tuning in. Of course, he is the voice of the Raiders. I appreciate that, Tim. Tim, are you enjoying any off time right now, or are you going right into baseball season like we do? I know you went to Lubbock, Texas not too long ago with the Lady Raiders. First pitch on the way, called for a strike 1. No balls and a strike here to the leadoff man, Dylan Bratcher. He is 1 for 1 here in the ball game. He singled with an RBI, takes ball 1 a little bit outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 8-5 the score. here in the bottom part of inning number 4. This one inside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. Boy, that wind is just whipping everything around. We started today with a game time temperature of 51 degrees. We have warmed up a little bit, a balmy 53. Winds are still howling, though, near 20 miles an hour sustained. There's a good pitch, strike 2. It is now 1 ball or make that 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Go win this pitch. Let's go.
He is on broadcast vacation. I kind of figured that, Tim. I bet you've earned every bit of it, too. I bet you're enjoying it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hey, all right. Coach Nicholson's baby girl is tuning in this afternoon. Miss Chloe is tuning in. Glad to have her alongside. Boy, this Van Buren team, Brittany, they are something to watch. Foul ball there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Van Buren, they have come to play today up by 3 runs. 8-5 is the score. Pop fly behind us. And still 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mules got their leadoff man on board last inning, and they're trying again to do it right now. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Bratcher. And they lose them on ball 4, and the Mules have a leadoff man aboard with coming up to the plate now is Miles Johnson. So the Mules draw a walk, and we'll see if they're able to advance the runner over. So Bratcher will stay on first base, or no, they're going to go ahead and give a pinch runner this time. Bratcher's going to re-enter the ball game. So they are going to put on first base. It'll be Bennett, I believe, is going to be who comes in. Yes, it is.
Hey, here we go.
Or make that Malik Thompson, rather, who's going to be standing at first base, number 6. And now Miles Johnson digs in. Johnson struck out his first time and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes as the Mules have their leadoff man aboard. 1 ball, no strikes here in the bottom part of inning number 4. Mules are down 8-5. Van Buren got 6 runs in the first inning on Mules. 4 errors they committed. There's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Mules, or I should say Van Buren rather, got 6 runs in the first and 2 in the fourth. They've got 8 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. The Mules got 4 runs in the second and 1 in the third. This one taken for a strike. It's 2 balls and a strike. Mules have 5 runs on 6 hits and the 4 errors in the ball game. Van Buren, they've been able to get 10 hits so far today in this game. Good offensive output by Coach Nicholson's team. Runner takes off. There's a ground ball hit sharply to a shortstop. Throw to first base is in time. Got him by his, are they going to say safe or out? No, they're saying he's safe at first. I thought the field umpire said he was out, but he said he was safe, and now the runners are on the corners, first and third base. It'll be an infield base hit to Hawkins, and Thompson, because he was running on the play, is going to be able to get to third base. And now David Durbin coming up to the plate now. Durbin will step in with runners on first and third base. And Durbin, so far this year, with runners in scoring position, he is batting .667. Runner takes off, and he pops it straight up to right field. Keeney calls everybody off, and he makes the catch. And the Mules are going to end up scoring a run on the sacrifice. So the Mules will pick up a run. And it's now 8-6 now, with the Mules down by just 2 runs.
Now batting, number 2, Dylan Hall.
So Dylan Hall comes up to the plate now. The Mules, with 1 down here in the inning. Thompson was unable to advance. 8-6 now the score. And now Hall takes ball 1 outside. A good job by Thompson, or make that by Johnson rather. One ball and no strikes.
John.
This one grounded back to the backstop there. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Dylan Hall standing at the plate now. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Bratcher is going to re-enter the ball game from what we've been told. 1 down in the inning, and we are back to the top of the lineup. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Mules down 8-6. Pretty good ball game so far. This one taken outside again, and waiting for the umpire. He dropped the ball. Boy, that would have been very close if he would have held on to the ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tim Hager, Coach Nicholson is his son-in-law. That's awesome. Glad to know that. He spends the baseball season following the Bulldogs. You picked a good time. I'm assuming you're back in Van Buren or somewhere watching this game, obviously on video. It's pretty chilly out here, but Tim and I, thankfully, are in the press box, and I don't even have my window open. Tim's got his window open, but I've got mine shut. I haven't even opened it yet. Outside for another ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Boy, the Mules, they got down again 8-5, but they're fighting back. 8-6 now the score. We are in the bottom half of inning number 4. Van Buren leads here 8-6. They've got 8 runs on 10 hits. Van Buren has been a very game here today. Mules have 6 runs on 7 hits. Mules had 4 errors. Runner takes off. This one's popped up out of play. It'll get behind the first base dugout, and it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and Johnson kind of tipped his hand. Sounds like he may take off on this pitch. There is 1 down in the inning. Mules are down by 2 runs. That run on first base is very important. Waiting on deck is Kobe Greenwald. Runner takes off, and they've got him in a rundown. Johnson is going to be able to get in to a second base. Good base running by Johnson. Boy, he is so quick. He is just so hard to contain on first base. And now he'll get credit for the stolen base there. So a base hit by Miles Johnson, and then he takes off and steals second on a 3-2 pitch. So double play is taken away for right now, and here is the payoff pitch on the way back to second base, not in time. Johnson able to slide back in with no issues, and we'll do it again. Dylan Hall leading off here in the inning, or I should say the leadoff man, batting .353, and he went around that time, couldn't catch up, and strike 3. There are 2 down in the inning, and that's a big out for the Bulldogs.
Number 18, Colby.
So Greenwald now coming up to the plate here in the 4th inning. He is 0 for 2. He has grounded out both times to shortstop. He would love to drive in that run on second base. There's a fly ball. This one out towards center field. Smith going for it. It's going to drop in for a hit. It'll be a 2-out double by Greenwald. And the Mules once again have cut it down to 1 run. Boy, for Colby Greenwald, that had to feel good, going 0 for 2 early in the game, and then an RBI double.
Now batting, number 23, Kason King.
And now Kason King coming up to the plate now. Mules trail 8-7.
Cut it in half. Let's go, King. Let's go, babe.
8-7 the score now. This one's popped straight up by Kason King out toward right field. Keeney gets underneath it, and he makes the catch. So the inning will come to an end, but the Mules, once again, they get 2 of those runs back. They get 2 runs on 2 hits, a man stranded on second base. We are now going to the 5th. The Mules trail by a score of 8-7. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Kevin's Auto and Tire is a family-owned one-stop shop for fast, friendly, and affordable automotive services with the latest tools and technology, as well as their time-tested automotive knowledge. They're guaranteed to get your vehicle fixed without breaking the bank.
Larry Hillis is a proud sponsor of Mule Sports. Local sports, local fans, and local business. A winning combination.
Before we begin the top of inning number 5, it is the bottom of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds on the radio for station identification. You're listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. It is 12:31. I'm Frankie Castile. You're watching Mules Baseball live on Facebook and on YouTube. Also listening on the radio, today's talk, 93.3 FM, 930 AM, KWOC. Tim Hicks on the camera doing a phenomenal job as always. I'm Frankie Castile. And the Mules now down by 1 run. It is 8-7. We are back to the top of the, or I should say we are back to Benjamin Hawkins now. 4, 5, and 6 all due up in the inning. Strike one is called right down the middle. It's no balls and a strike. So up to the plate now here in the top of inning number 5. Hawkins here has reached on an error, struck out looking and grounded out to second base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kason King comes set, and this one's going to get him. Hit him right in the shoulder in the back area. Leadoff man aboard here for the Bulldogs. Second hit batter of the ball game. 1 by Bratcher and now 1 by Kason King. So a runner on first base and nobody out. Jonah Reed is up to the plate now. He's 1 for 3. He has struck out twice and singled and scored. This one back to the backstop. And the runner will take off. Hawkins now winds up on second base. It is now 1 ball, no strikes. And boy, it's a big run standing on second base for Van Buren. Up by a run. They would love to have that insurance run there. Coach Shoecard is tuning in from South Wilby, him and his son Connor. Also Sandy Hall tuning in as well from Montana to watch their nephew Dylan Hall. Good job by Dylan Bratcher there. 1 down, but the runner does advance over to third base.
Now batting number 1, Elijah Van Black.
So now the first pitch on the way. It is taken for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 down here in the inning and a runner on third base. Two balls and no strikes here. Runner on third base, 1 down. Up high for a ball, 3 balls and no strikes. Up to the plate, Elijah Van Wagner. He has walked, hit by a pitch, and singled and scored 2 runs here in the ball game. He's 1 for 1 officially. He's got 3 balls and no strikes to him right now. There's a strike called right down the middle, 3 balls and a strike. Nice sunny day here in Poplar Bluff. A little bit of wind, kind of a lot of wind actually. We've had every game this season pretty much has been nothing but wind. There's the ground ball hit sharply down the third base line and foul. Good job by Greenwald there, letting it go foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mules are trying to get out of this inning, giving up no runs. Boy, that'll be huge for the Mules if they're able to do that. Make sure and share this video feed for us on social media. Let us know where you're watching from and what team you're going for. Grandma Jackie tuning in back in Poplar Bluff along Highway W. There's a fly ball, this one to left field, and foul. It goes out of play. Wind kind of took that one for a ride. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll do it again. Elijah Van Wagner. Wagner has some power, the DH man. He has walked and scored a couple of runs. He was also hit by a pitch. So King now takes a long look at third base. Here's the payoff pitch. This one out to left field. It's going to get down for it's going to be a hit. Good extension there by David Durbin. It'll be a 1-out double. And Van Buren again, and they get the run back. So the Mules, or I should say Van Buren rather, gets another run back, and now they lead it 9-7. An RBI. So now it's 9-7, and we're going to see a pitching change. So we'll come back, and we'll tell you more about the new pitcher when we come back in about 90 seconds. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Patriot Auto Glass offers chip repair or glass replacement. They provide fast quality service done by experienced technicians. Ask about our veteran and first responder discounts. Call Patriot Auto Glass today at 573-840-5027. And remember, Patriot Auto Glass will come to you.
So the new pitcher on the game, in the game rather, is Rylan Seasongood. He is making so far today, he'll be making his 5th appearance so far. He has pitched 8 1/3 innings so far this season. He is 0-2 on the year. He has given up 7 hits, 14 runs. 10 of them have been earned. He's walked 10, struck out 17. He's also hit 5 batters this season so far. No wild pitches and 1 balk here thrown this year so far. So Bratcher will stay on at first base. Greenwald's now going to move over to left field. And King is now going to move to third base. And it looks like David Durbin, his day is going to come to an end for right now anyway. He may still bat, but Seasongood is going to be the new pitcher for the Mules. And the first pitch is called a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners on second base with 1 down here in the inning. Seasongood, the Mules' 3rd pitcher of the game. This one up high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes now. Hit the wrong button there on the scoreboard. I got it fixed though.
But what he talked about.
So runners on second base, 9-7 to score. This one outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Mules now trying to limit any more damage done in this inning. Good pitch by Season Good. 3 balls and a strike. We are in the top of inning number 5. Mules are down by 2 runs. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball hit sharply to second base. Tabanera dropped it. First base is not in time. Another error on the Mules, and that'll be an E4. Tabanera could not field it cleanly.
Now batting number 2, Cole Kemp.
So E4 on the effort there by the Mules, and that is the 5th error of the ball game for Poplar Bluff. And now coming up to the plate is Cole Kemp. He is 2 for 3 today, a 2 RBI double, a 2 RBI base hit. And this one is popped out to left field. It's going to go over the head of Greenwald. 1 run comes in to score. And now the runners are on second and at third base. It is now 10-7.
Now batting number 22, Noah Keeney.
So Noah Kinney coming up to the plate now. 5 RBIs in the ball game here by Cole Kemp. He has had himself quite the ball game. 5 RBIs so far today. First pitch taken for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. 10-7 now the score. The Mules are down once again by 3 runs. 1 ball, no strikes to Noah Kinney. This one is popped up towards center field. Dylan Hall goes over to make the catch, and the runner comes in, and he'll score. And now they've got the runner on. They've got Kemp in a rundown, and Kemp is going to be tagged down on second base. But the inning will come to an end. However, the run will still count, and Kemp is going to be tagged out. And the inning will come to an end, but the run does score. 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error in the inning. Mules now down once again by 4 runs. It is 11-7 on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Scott Law Firm is experienced in estate planning and the preparation of documents like wills and trusts. Let the Scott Law Firm help you protect your family and pass along your estate according to your terms. Call Scott Law Firm today at 785-4688. Southeast Signs and Graphics of Poplar Bluff can handle all of your printing needs, from t-shirts, wall displays, banners, and so much more. Call their team at 573-772-5566 or get to southeastsignsandgraphics.com.
So we're going to the bottom half of inning number 5. Van Buren, once again, they lead by 4 runs. It is 11-7. Van Buren, 11 runs on 12 hits, the 1 error in the ballgame. The Mules have 7 runs on 8 hits, and they've got 5 errors so far in this ballgame. To this point, the Mules and the Bulldogs have been playing for literally 1 hour and 44 minutes. And the Mules are still down by 3 runs, or make that 4 runs. Noah Spain coming up to the plate. Spain is walked and doubled. He's also scored 2 runs in the game. Takes first pitch in there for a called strike. No balls and a strike. Mules down 11-7 on that sacrifice in the last inning by Kenny. The runner crossed home plate first. Therefore, the run would count. This one popped out down the first base line and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Had a couple of fans question during the commercial timeout why the run counted, because the runner scored before that 3rd out. That is the reason why that run was able to score. 11-7, that might come back to be a big run. This one chopped down third base. Reed over to first base, and no, he went away safe. He dropped the ball anyway. That was going to be a hard out. It was a slow chopper to third base. It went high in the air, and they're going to give him an infield base hit. So Spain again will lead off with a base hit, and the Mules have their leadoff man aboard with nobody out. Runner on first base now. 9 hits in the ball game for the Mules. Mules have 9 hits, 7 runs, and now Bryce Dobbs, he is 2 for 2 today. This one popped up out of play behind us. No balls and a strike. Dobbs here in the ball game. He has singled twice, an RBI, and scored once. Mules have a runner on first base now. Nobody out. And this one taken for a ball. 1 ball and no, or make that 1 ball and 1 strike. Count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Mules trying to get back in this game, down by 4 runs. We are in the 4th, or make that the 5th inning rather. Coming up on the 2-hour mark. Runner takes off. They've got Spain in a rundown. Spain is going to be safe at second base. That is 2 times now the Mules have done that where they've taken off, and you would think that Van Buren's pitcher, Jaco, has the upper hand, but he has not been able to pick anybody off. So Spain with a stolen base, and he stands on second base now, and he is in scoring position. And now back over to second base is not in time. One ball and 1 strike. Winds calm down just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. As high as gusty as it was earlier, we'll take anything right about now. 2 balls and a strike. Bryce Dobbs now has got a man in scoring position. Just misses inside. 3 balls and a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to Bryce Dobbs. And they lost him. He reaches base again. Runner on first and second base now. And now Marcus Tabanera coming up to the plate.
Number 1, Marcus Tabanera.
Tabanera has popped out to right field and singled in the ball game. Tell you what, Jaco has had a really good game to this point. He has pitched 4 innings. Pitch number 87 upcoming. This one up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Right now for the Mules, Bratcher is in line for the loss. Mules have never led in this game. They did cut it down to 1 run 1 time. There's a rip. This one into left field for a base hit. And the Mules now, we've got them loaded with nobody out in the inning. Tabanera's second hit of the ball game. And now we're going to get Coach Nicholson to come out, and Jaco's day might be done. We'll see what he does, and he may still just talk to him, or he may pull him here. In the meantime, the Mules have runners on every base. Spain on third base, Dobbs on second following a walk, and then a base hit by Tabanera. And now the Mules have him loaded for Dylan Bratcher. He has become Mr. Clutch when it comes to bases and runners in scoring position. Looks like Nicholson may leave him temporarily. And Nicholson, of course, he used to be an assistant coach right here back in Poplar Bluff. Got a chance to talk to him before this game got started. Such a nice guy. Miss having him around. He's making good things happen in Van Buren. So Bratcher coming up to the plate now for the Mules. He is 1 for 1 today. An RBI base hit, and he's walked as well. So Bratcher, the left-hander, versus the lefty on the mound. It takes strike one a little bit outside. It is a strike, though, nevertheless. So Bratcher is down a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. This one popped up. This one out toward left field. Kemp is, it's going to fall in for a base hit. There's nobody on third base. And the Mules will end up and score the run. Jaco was not following through on third base, and the Mules will benefit from that. The ball kind of hung up, and that could have been a possible double play, but there was nobody on third base.
Number 4, Miles Johnson.
So now the Mules, they will score a run. It's now 11-8. That'll be a base hit, by the way. This one is popped straight up in the infield, or just along the infield, rather, in the out at first base. Big out there as Miles Johnson unable to score the runs there. It's hit the hills on first base, 1 down. Bratcher, another RBI in this game. And now Season Good will swing away, and he takes the first pitch down the first base, or third base line, rather. It is no balls and 1 strike. So no balls and a strike here to Ryland Season Good. This one he fouls away to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes. Dylan Hall awaiting on deck. Mules are down by just 3 runs, and they've got them loaded right now. Bratcher is standing on first base. Tabanera on second. Dobbs on third. This one fouled it, or I should say, the catcher, and it's going to be a foot race, and good play by Hawkins. It's going to be a fielder's choice, and Hawkins is able to take care of business.
Now batting number 2, Dylan
Hall. So now we're going to get a courtesy runner coming in now for Season Good, and it'll be Aiden Dawes back in the ball game. So 2 down in the inning. Boy, the Mules need a big hit here, no doubt. This one is popped up and going to get out of play behind us. Two down in the inning. Boy, for Dylan Hall, he is 0 for 3 today. He has popped out twice and struck out. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Love to get a hit right here by the Mules leadoff man. 2 down in the inning. 1-1 is the count. There's a ground ball. This one just goes foul, and now he's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tying run is standing on first base. Hall so far this season, runners in scoring position. He is batting .250. He would love to change that right now. We're coming up on 1 o'clock on this Saturday afternoon. Mules down 11-8. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball yet again. This one goes foul. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Van Buren up by 3 runs. So now Hall takes a couple of practice swings. Waiting for the ball to come back in from the outfield. They'll hand it off to the home plate umpire, Keith McMahon. Dalton Freshour is in the field this afternoon, the other umpire. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Outside, this one gets to the backstop, and the Mules will score a run The Mules are going to go. No, Bratcher is going to go back to third base. Almost a miscue. Almost brought in another run. Woo, that was close. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Mules get a run. Mules have runners on second and third base now. 2-2 the pitch. There's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. 1 run comes in, and here comes the Mules, and the Mules have tied the game. Big base hit. Big knock by Dylan Hall, and the Mules have come away to tie this game. And if you're Dylan Hall, that's got to feel good. That is a 2 RBI base hit. And now the Mules have tied the game. Tie ball game. Bratcher now the no decision. Greenwald steps up. Runner takes off. Pulls back, and Hall's going to be in at second base with no throw down. Runner now in scoring position for the Mules. And now back over to second base is not in time. Boy, the Mules.
Tied 11.
There's a ground ball hit sharply to second base. Van Landingham over to first base in time. But not before the Mules come back and tie this game. Mules pick up 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 left on base. We are going to the top of inning number 6, and the Mules and the Bulldogs all tied up at 11. You're listening and watching Mules baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers is a third-generation family-owned jewelry and repair store who have served the Poplar Bluff community for over 60 years.
Our family has always worked hard to provide the finest jewelry creations and service imaginable.
Before we go any farther, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening and watching Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. It is just before 1 o'clock on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Frankie Castile. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on today's talk, 93.3 FM, 930 AM, KWOC. And we are streaming online at KWOC.com. So they're saying there might be a scoring discrepancy, but it's 11-11. Van Buren is saying they've got 12, but it's 11.
Hey, Blue, who told you it's 12?
Exactly.
Our book said that.
They're saying
we had that rundown that last got the double play, but the run scored before the last out.
I'm listening to the umpire. That's correct.
Yeah, that's what they got.
I think our book is wrong because that's not what I've got. It's 11. I've got 11-11. They're saying 12. And I counted that run on third base. So there's a scoring discrepancy. 1 ball and no strikes. So they're saying the Bluff book has 11-2, or 12 rather, but that's not what I've got. There's a ground ball hit sharply up to shortstop, over to first base in time. So a pinch hitter is going to come up to the plate now. It'll be Devin DeWolf wearing number 11, swing and a miss. We are in the top of the 6th. This one is grounded toward first base. It's a foot race and out at first base. Good job there by the Mules. Quickly 2 down in the inning. And now we are back to the top of the lineup. Takes first pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. One ball, no strikes. This one taken back to the screen at 2 balls and no strikes. So DeWolf is going to be, he'll go out and Hawkins will back in. It was a pinch hitter. This one is up the middle and, good stop by Noah Spain, but it's going to be a base hit. That was a good stop by Spain to keep it in the infield. And a runner on first base now. We are in the top of inning number 6.
Now batting number 4, Benjamin Hawkins.
So Hawkins now coming up to the plate. Hawkins 0 for 3 so far. He has been hit by a pitch and scored a run. He struck out, he has grounded out, and he reached on an error and scored a run. In there for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike. Good pitch there by Ryland Season Good. In there for a called strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Season Good 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Outside for a ball. Good take. Not a bad pitch there by Season Good. Ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. No ball. One ball, 2 strikes rather. Season Good now takes a look at the runner, and the pitch is inside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Coming up in the bottom part of inning number 6, it'll be King, Spain, and Dobbs. Oh, this one got him. I knew he was getting ever so closely inside, and now the runner on first and second base. Second time he's been hit by a pitch in the game. And now Jonah Reed is coming up. He is 1 for 4 in the ball game. He has struck out twice, grounded out to first base, and singled and scored. 2 down here in the inning. There's the ground ball hit sharply to Noah Spain. The good backhand stop, and it's not going to be in time. And the run's going to come in to score. Runners on first and third base.
Elijah Van Leck.
This one's grounded out to second base, and the force at second for the out, but Van Buren will come away with a run, and we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and it is a 12-11 score. We'll be right back. Van Buren scores 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error by the Mules. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. And we are back here live in the bottom half of inning number 6. It is now a 12-11 score. So for the Bulldogs of Van Buren, they will have a new pitcher on the mound as Jaco, his day will come to an end. But, man, he pitched a beauty here today for the Bulldogs. He kept them in the game. And we're going to see a new pitcher come in for the Bulldogs here. We'll get you all the information here as we are in at the bottom half of inning number 6. And for the Bulldogs here, the new pitcher is going to be Cole Kemp. So Cole Kemp is going to be the new pitcher. So Cole Kemp will come in, and he will be the pitcher now for the Bulldogs.
1, 2, 3.
So now we'll see what the Mules can do with it here. As King comes up to the plate here in the bottom of inning number 6. So ball 1 taken. Two balls and no strikes.
Right here.
I was going over everything on my books and everything, and I'm taking, which for me, I take handwritten stats, and then I also do our teams at Game Changer as well. Everything matches, 3 balls and no strikes. I've got it to be 12-11 Van Buren. And a leadoff walk here. Mules as King now gets on base, a leadoff walk here in the 6th. And now give it to him. It would have been 10-7, but we gave it to him 11-7. Then the out occurred. 4-run inning. There you go. There is a discrepancy, but I don't know where the book went wrong. We'll have to check it here in a few minutes. As King is going to stay put on first base. And for those of you that are watching that are big Van Buren fans, I promise you, we're not cheating Van Buren out of a run. I'm not going to change my scoreboard because I know that we're 100% correct. the written stats and the digital stats all match the same. There's a strike. Good pitch. No balls and a strike. We will get some clarification. We're trying to get that now, but we're up here in the booth, and the coaches are in the dugout, obviously. Inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Van Buren leads by a run here in the bottom of inning number 6. This one grounded sharply for a base hit. And now the Mules have 2 runners on and nobody out. So the Mules now with runners on first and second base, and Bryce Dobbs coming up to the plate. So Bryce Dobbs, he is 2 for 2 today. Dobbs has a single. He scored a run. He's also another RBI base hit, and he's walked and scored. 2 runners on, nobody out in the inning. This one, good backhand there by Hawkins. Ball taken, and that was a nice move by Hawkins to keep that in front of him, and most importantly, keep Kason King on second base. Good play by the catcher, by Van Buren. He's really a good catcher. This one taken outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls and no strikes.
Oh, yeah!
Inside for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. And now, runner, or I should say it's a ball 4 walk. And now the bases are loaded.
Now batting number 1, Marcus Tabanera.
So now coming up to the plate, Marcus Tabanera. He is 2 for 3 in the ball game after a walk by Dobbs. 1 ball and no strikes here, as Tabanera 2 for 3 in the game. This one gets away. Oh, good job once again by Hawkins. Kind of took a lucky bounce too as it hit the backstop so hard it came back into play. 2 balls and no strikes now. Van Buren leads the Mules here in the top, or make that bottom of inning number 6. Bratcher awaits on deck. In there for a called strike. Good pitch. Way to come back on that one by Cole Kemp. 2 balls and a strike. This one popped up and sacrifice, and boy, that's a good play defensively there by Van Buren. Still 1 down here in the inning as Tabanera unable.
Now batting number 15, Dylan Bratcher.
1 down in the inning, and Bratcher now coming up to the plate with 1 out. No balls and a strike here. Swing and a miss, and quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Bratcher now down to he's down in the count here. No balls and 2 strikes. This one is outside once again. Hawkins keeping it in front of him. Johnson awaits on deck. Here's the 0-2 pitch, or make that 1-2 pitch. Oh, just missed for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This one inside for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch coming up. This one pops straight up along the first base line. Hills comes in and cannot make the catch. Is it fair or foul? They're going to say he's out. They're saying infield fly rule, I believe. That's what they're called. I thought it was a foul ball. We're going to... Trying to hear what the umpire is saying. I thought it was a foul ball, but Patillo... So 2 down in the inning. So now there's 2 away in the inning.
Quick pitch on you, Miles.
So Johnson now 1 ball and no strikes. Misses inside, another ball, 2 balls and no strikes. So Van Buren, they've got a lead here in the bottom of inning number 6. Mules had them loaded, nobody out. And back-to-back outs here by the Mules. Van Buren 1 pitch away, or make that 1 out away from getting out of the inning. This one is outside for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Gotta be perfect. Let's go. Deep breath and go. Deep breath and go. Right here. Let's go.
And this one, the Mules are going to walk in a run. I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm going to give Van Buren the run on the scoreboard. That's what it's saying here, but that is not correct. But nevertheless, I don't want to confuse people that are watching us right now on Facebook and YouTube. So now, timeout here called by Van Buren as Coach Nicholson comes out to talk to his pitcher. It is Mules still have them loaded, and Season Good is going to come up to the plate now. So Nicholson, lots of faith in Cole Kemp here. As Season Good comes up to the plate. Season Good grounded into a fielder's choice his last time.
Now batting number 3, Ryland Season Good.
First one taken up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. This one gets away, and the run's going to come in. And he saves at home. Noah Spain. So Noah Spain on the wild pitch there, and no argument from the Van Buren side. He slid underneath the tag. So now it is 13-13. 2 balls and no strikes. And all the runners move up 2 as well on that same pitch. We are in the bottom of inning number 6. That one's taken downstairs for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. There is 2 down in the inning. And a strike. Good pitch there by Cole Kemp. Not a bad take by the Mules. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Hey, big part here. Your head.
and bases are loaded again. So now we are back to the top of the lineup, and we're going to get a pitching change. We'll be back. Mules still at the plate with the bases loaded. You're listening and watching Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Caring for those you love also means taking good care of yourself. At Poplar Bluff Regional Medical Center, our healthcare providers take the time to identify your health risks and help you prioritize good health. Regular checkups and age-appropriate screenings are important to be healthy now and stay well in the future. With same or next day appointments and online scheduling, we make it easy to make an appointment right now. You can even see us from the comfort of your own home via telehealth. Put your health first today by making an appointment by visiting pbrmc.com and searching online scheduling.
So the Mules have climbed all the way back in this ball game, and Poplar Bluff now still with the bases loaded. Have a chance here to take the lead, and for Van Buren, they are using their third pitcher of the ball game. It'll be Kinney this time. He will come in from right field, and he'll be the new pitcher on the mound for the Van Buren Bulldogs. So we'll see what the Bulldogs here can do with runners on every base. Dylan Hall's going to come up to the plate. We are in the bottom of inning number 6. Mules had him loaded, and then back-to-back outs by Marcus Tabanera, Dylan Bratcher, and then two walks by Johnson and by Season Good. And then we had the pass, or the wild pitch rather, to the backstop, and that would allow Noah Spain to come in and tie this game. First one by Dylan, I'll make that the first pitch by Kinney is called for a strike. Here is the pitch on the way, grab ball, hit sharply to the shortstop. They'll go to first base and in time for the punch out. So we are going to go to the top of inning number 7. Mules pick up a couple of runs, and they leave them loaded. You're listening to Mules Baseball and watching it live on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. Oh, what a game here in Poplar Bluff. You got to love controversy, right? It's great. All right, so according to our book and what they're saying on the field, it's a tie ball game. But I'm telling you, well, we'll leave it alone until the game is over.
30, Holden Hill.
All right, so Holden Hills now coming up to the plate. We are in the top of inning number 7. Here is the first pitch by Season. Good. There's a rocket shot. There's a base hit. And Hills is going to round first base, and he'll stay put. Boy, what a rocket shot that was. Out to left field. So a runner on first base. We are plate now. There's a pop fly. This one out toward center field. Good catch there by Dylan Hall. The top of inning number 7.
Now batting number 22, Noah Keenan.
Hey, Hall, your way, Hall, your way. Hey, Hall.
13, tied score at 13-all here in the 7th. Good hold up there by Kenny, and it's going to be ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Go ahead run standing on first base. 1 ball and no strikes. And there's a good pitch by Season Good. Count is even at 1 apiece now. 1 ball and 1 strike. Go ahead run standing on third base, or make that first base. This one taken for a ball.
Hey, you're at bat, your count.
So now Season Good, 2 balls and 1 strike. Inside, the runner's going to take off. Johnson goes down to second base, not in time.
Hey, your spot right there. Something you like. Something you like.
3 balls and 1 strike. Go ahead run, standing on second base.
Hey, do what you did last time. Get off. Stay back.
So now runners on first and second base.
Hey, time to lock in. Hey, come on. Come on, Brady Smith.
1 down here in the inning. Season Good.
Batting number 8, Brady Smith.
Brady Smith is coming up to the plate.
Bring ball your way. Make sure you hop up there, Season Good. Lead those, come on.
1 ball, no strikes to Brady Smith, who was 1 for 3 in the ball game. He has walked and doubled, also popped out and grounded out here in the game. And strike is called. That was like a delayed call as well. Everybody waited for that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. You heard some of the Mules fans applauding, and the Van Buren fans kind of grimace a little bit there. Here is the 1-1 pitch by Season Good. Just misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike now.
Big spot.
Big spot here coming up on 1:30. 2 hours and 27 minutes here in the game so far. Here is the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit sharply up the middle. It's going to be dropped by Spain, and nobody is going to be out. Another error by the Mules. And they're going to score that one in E6. So now the bases are loaded with 1 out, and Hawkins coming up to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Hawkins now, the catcher, the infield coming in. expecting a ground ball for the fielder's choice, and this one taken outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, as Hawkins is 0 for 3. He reached on an error back in the first. He's also struck out, and he's popped out as well. This one fouled away. Good pitch by Season Good. Count is even at 1-1. Hear that wind picking back up again. It went away for a little bit, but not right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Turn that off for just a moment. Swing and a miss until that wind gust goes away. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Here in the top of inning number 7, the Van Buren Bulldogs. They've got them loaded. We owe you a legal ID as well. We'll take it momentarily. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch number 38 upcoming for Season Good. Coming up in the bottom of the inning, it'll be Colby Greenwald leading us off. 2, 3, and 4 due up. This one fouled away at the screen. We'll do it again. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got some information on some timing on possible storms on Tuesday coming in about 4 o'clock again on Tuesday, maybe. I don't want to talk too much about that because we're still 3 days away. Boom! A big strikeout there by Season Good. 2 down in the inning. And now the ever-dangerous leadoff man is back up to the plate. And it's Gage Van Landingham, who is 2 for 4 in the afternoon. 2 base hits, he has scored a run, he has struck out, and he has walked. 2 down in the inning. First pitch taken up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes.
Making a play infield, let's go.
In there for a called strike. Good pitch on that one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Read confidence, come on. Have some fun. Let's go, man.
Here is the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hit sharply to Noah Spain. Over to second base in time for the force out. And somehow the Mules keep them at bay. Nobody scores. And we're going to go to the bottom of inning number 7. And when we come back, the Mules will be up. It'll be Greenwald, King, and Spain. Game is tied at 13. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network.
Want a career and not just another job? It's waiting for you at Briggs & Stratton. Great pay, great benefits, and continuing education. Everything you and your family deserve. Go to careers.basco.com and look at Poplar Bluff job openings.
Breathe easier and extend the life of your HVAC system, plus fewer repair bills with Air Solutions Comprehensive Maintenance Plan. You'll save money and get the peace of mind that only comes from calling Air Solutions. 785-1500.
All right, so we are back as we get ready for the bottom half of inning number 7. And for the Mules right now, could be a walk-off win scenario for the Mules. So we'll see how the Mules play it here in this 7th inning. So It is, you know what? They're saying it's a tie score, so we'll call it a tie score, even though I know I'm right. But anyways, different story. Kobe Greenwald now coming up to the plate. So Greenwald leads off 1 for 4. This one, get down, baby, get down. A leadoff base hit by Greenwald. Nice hit by Kobe Greenwald. The Mules have the winning run on first base. And now Kaysen King comes up to the plate.
Number 23, Kaysen King.
So now Kaysen King coming up. And Noah Kinney still on the mound. Kaysen King is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Runner takes off. The throw to second base is not in time. And now the Mules have their winning run on second base. One ball and no strikes here to Kaysen King as Greenwald led off with a base hit. This one popped up behind us. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Bruce Hawkins is tuning in, and glad to have you alongside, Bruce. This one is popped straight up in the air. This one out towards center field, and it's going to fall in. And the Mules are going to wind up and win this game on a walk-off double by Kaysen King. So the Mules are going to end up and win the game. And we'll come back and we'll have highlights and totals in just a moment. 2 hours and 35 minutes as King with a game-winning double. And the Mules get the win 14-13. We'll be back. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball. And we'll get the teams real quick as they shake hands. Always good to see 2 good teams at the end of a game shaking hands. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. Patillo, and Coach, congratulations on the win. It was a hard-fought game. You guys got down 6-0 early, and I've said this I don't know how many times this year, but your Mules team, they do not know the word quit, and they showed it here today.
Yeah, they did, and we also showed that we can get down 6 in the first inning.
You're right. You're right.
We've done that a couple times now, but no, I'm glad that the kids keep battling. They don't give up. They don't quit. They never think they're really out of it. And, that we just play. But the only thing I was really disappointed in today, I thought we were sloppy. And, it's just I hate being that way. And but, we keep saying it. We got an inexperienced group. And, we want things to change and turn around immediately, but we were having a big discussion about this just yesterday about how so many things happen in a baseball game that you can't always coach and practice, and there's just tons of things that happen. But I'm just glad the kids kept battling all day long.
Absolutely. And, I like to talk about somebody I don't get to mention all the time, but one guy to me that really stepped up, at least in my opinion, Coach, Bryce Dobbs. Freshman, got on base every time he went to the plate. That's huge in a game like this.
Well, it is, and he's hitting, fifth for us. That's why I've got full confidence in him. Really a good spring all the way around, but he had a really good game today.
Absolutely. And what inning? You got down by 6 runs. Walk us through the bottom of the first inning. What was the conversation like? You had to come out, talk to Bratcher, settle him down. It worked. And then in the bottom part of the inning, you guys went 1, 2, and 3. So I guess what and kind of start chipping away at the game, scoring 4 runs in that second inning?
Well, we just talked about the fact that it's a long game, and game's not over, and you just keep battling, you keep playing, and like I said, when we scored the 4, that got us to a point to where we're back near in the game, but we just could never get over the hump until that final 2 innings. So they just kept playing, and that's what this is. I mean, it's a great game, and even when you're not playing well, to find ways to figure it out and get it done is what's important.
I know with Bratcher, if you talk to him, he'll tell you, I know him well enough to far, but in a bullpen where you have King that can come in, you've got a guy like Season Good that can come in and kind of close things out. I mean, that's got to give this team more confidence going forward.
Well, it does, and that was 2 big outs at the end that Season Good
Huge
got
out
for us, and because he was getting ready to come out on the next hitter because he's out of pitches.
Right.
So, we were going to go to Durbin if that continued, and then if we didn't score that inning, we were going to go to Durbin, here if we were going into extra innings. So, those are our 4 top. We're going to pitch in varsity this year, and but this was a good day to kind of spread that out, and we left Bratcher in there to go ahead and kind of fight away that second inning, and he still got something done and figured some things out.
I wanted to first base. What was the call at home plate? They called it out. Was it an infield fly or what was it?
No, it's an interference.
Interference, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was I couldn't tell by what was going on. So we've got the win today. Obviously, it's a big win. You guys are back at 500, but look out because coming up next week, Coach, we've got a brutal schedule. All starts off on Monday. We're going to be here against Ellington, and then on Tuesday on the road, a big SEMO conference game against Sykeston. 2
I'm looking forward to seeing them. Ellington's got a catcher and a pitcher that are really good. Sykeston I don't know as much about, and we're trying to get some stuff on them from last year, and then what they've been doing so far. Yeah. we know we have a chance to win. We just got to be doing some better things. And, defensively today, my biggest frustration was just not hitting there. And but, again, that's all part of growth. And hopefully we see those and continue to make plays off of that.
7 errors here in the ball game, but you guys still come away with a 2-run victory. By the way, you guys love to win in dramatic fashion, by the way. And Case and King gets the credit for the double, but obviously 7 errors in a ball game, you want to clean that up by Monday.
We clean it up by Monday. It's all in the process of us getting better, and that's all we're trying to do. Every day we come out, we want to get better each day.
Absolutely. And, of course, I'm so glad you were able to come up and talk to us here today. Congratulations on the quick through
get a chance to play all 7 innings. We'll get a chance to see some different kids, and this is we've got a nice freshman group. I think there's 12 or 13 of them, and there's some kids that are not dressing on the varsity we're excited about, because we think by the time that they've got another year or two under
Monday. Live here on the post game as the Mules get the win here this afternoon, and now improving to 4 or make that 500. We'll in just a moment. You're watching and listening to Mules Baseball on the Southeast Sign and Graphics Mules Radio Network. We are back here live in Poplar Bluff as we're about to wrap this up here for the afternoon and say so long from Poplar Bluff as the Mules get the win here this afternoon. Technically, I guess if you want to be technical, the scoreboard on your screen shows 14-13. The actual score was 14-12. We did clarify a few things from the coaching staff, and I'm happy to report that we were correct the whole time. And I knew we were, and that's okay. The Mules still got the win either way. That's all that really matters. However, we won today 14-12. It was the technical final score. Mules had 14 runs on 15 hits, 7 errors. Meanwhile, Van Buren, they had 12 runs on 14 hits and the 1 error. Van Buren began the ball game with 6 runs, added 2 more in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and then none in that 7th. And the Mules played big time with bases loaded to get out of the inning. Meanwhile, Bluff would score 4 runs in the 2nd inning, 1 run in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. They would get 4 more in that 5th